Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG tabletop video. This time we're going to be playing some more Regidrago games. After going 4-0 at League, we decided we wanted to stick around, play some more Pokemon, decided to hang out with our teammate Ethan, play some more games, and don't worry, I told him he cannot play Block Lag, so we've got a variety of games here. If you want to hear about the list, I talked about it a little bit at the start of the last video, so be sure to go check that out, but other than that, we're going to get right into the gameplay. Ethan kicks off the video playing his Gardevoir deck. It's going to be a slower build of Gardevoir. No rare candies in this build like we saw Henry Chow talk about on the channel a couple weeks ago now, but there's going to be instead multiple Monkey Dories, maybe Fluttermane, TM Devo, cards like that. Really more similar to like last year or this year's like NAIC slow Guardy deck, that kind of stuff. So onto my first turn, I'm going to go ahead and get down to Drago and Cleffa. You'll notice I'm not going for Squawkabilly. I'm not going for more Dragos. I'm going for Cleffa. My plan on the next turn is to just use Cleffa. I think a lot of people in these situations are like, oh, I need to attack with Regidrago VSTAR on turn 2. I need to Phantom Dive or whatever it is. And I'm going to be pretty content here to just go ahead and use Grasping Draw on my second turn. So we got the Cleffa down. Very happy to see that. We're going to get some more energies in play. Ethan had a pretty standard turn 1. He missed the TM Evolution, which is really nice from these slow Guardy decks. Without Rare Candy, we know he's not going to be attacking on the next turn, but I think in the moment, I'm not entirely aware whether Ethan's playing like a slow or a fast build of this Guardy deck, so I'm a little afraid to go in, say with like a Dragon Laser, right? I could Dragon Laser here, take out this Ralts, but I'm a little afraid I take the knockout, he Rare Candies a Gardevoir, maybe blows me up with Drifloon, that would be really bad. Additionally, maybe he doesn't even blow me up. Maybe I Dragon Laser and he just plays an unfair stamp and then I draw bad cards and I'm awkwardly stuck and then I just fizzle out and lose the game from there. So I figured I'd just take a bit more of a passive approach. Just go ahead, Cleffa one more time. Not go in until I have multiple Regidragos set up. Maybe a better dragon Pokemon in the discard. I think maybe all I have right now is like Tina. I'd really like to have Goodra, I think. Or Dragapult would be very nice as well. I got the Hawlucha in this list, so I can go for some kind of double prize play, maybe take out the Manaphy or a Ralts, whatever. We see Ethan put down the Klefki on this turn, which I think is actually a pretty large mistake. I'm pretty happy to see this. I've got tons of energy on my board. I'm going to be able to pull off some kind of Kyurem play, whether it's now or later on in the game. And this Klefki just shuts off the Manaphy. I guess also Ethan maybe not entirely sure that I don't play Canceling Cologne here, so without this Klefki on the board, I actually can never Kyurem through the Manaphy, so that's nice for me. It does, of course, slow us down a little here, blocking our Teal Dances, but we've got 4 energy cards in play. We're not too bothered. And so we're in a little bit of a weird spot. We really would have liked to attack this turn. We have done nothing for a while, but I really don't want to flip my V-Star. Gardevoir is really good at punishing you for flipping your V-Star power. They have great comeback mechanics. I got Drifloon to one-shot you, Scream Tail to like trap something, attack the bench. Iono, of course. Monkey Dory can take multiple KOs at once, so he's not really activating Pheasantipede. So I'm just going to continue to play passive here. It is still fairly difficult for Ethan to do something productive here, right? These Gardevoir decks really aren't built to take the prize lead. So he could, of course, you could have Boss's Orders, right? He could like boss the Ogerpon and like kill it with Gardevoir EX plus Monkey Dory. He could also like Monkey Dory the Cleffa, but then I'll just promote Regidrago V-Star and he's board locked out a Drifloon, so he could maybe Monkey Dory the Cleffa and then Turo and then use Drifloon from there. But those are one of supporter cards, right? He's got 1 Turo, 1 boss. He's going to need to find like Gardevoir EX plus boss plus Dark Energy or some kind of combination. It's definitely not going to be easy for him, and there's a large chance that he's just going to end up passing it back to us again. We see Ethan actually go for the Arven here. I think we saw the Professor Turo in his hand. Yeah, there's the Turo. I think I really would have liked to see Turo get rid of this Klefki. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a liability moving on. Instead here, he's going to prioritize getting an attack in. So he's going to go ahead Arven for the Ultra Ball, get the Gardevoir EX out, right? Now we can Monkey Dory the Cleffa. Sort of the issue here, though, is that I'm just going to send up a Regidrago V-Star, and this 190 damage is just like not particularly relevant. Additionally, this Gardevoir has a lot of damage on it now, enough for me to loss impact it, and conveniently enough, Giratina V-Star is my only attacker in the discard, so it's going to be kind of nice for me. I debate just like setting up the Ogerpon here and like kind of giving up the prizes, but Because Ethan doesn't actually take the prizes, he just like does 190, he can pick up the KO later. I didn't want to do that, so we're just going to go ahead and let him punch into our Regidrago VSTAR. We've got 2, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. We start off our turn with Ultra Ball, and I think in the moment I'm debating going for some kind of cool play. Like, of course, I could bring in the bring in the Klefki here, go for some kind of Kyurem. You see the Prime Catcher at the top of my hand there, but I also know that just killing this Gardevoir EX is probably going to be good. Ethan only took 1 prize. So if I can initiate some kind of 2-prize exchange from here on out, maybe by using like Hawlucha Dragapult to maybe get Kyurem involved, maybe I end up loss impacting again, lots of options, but if I can just maintain this 2-prize card exchange that we're kind of starting here, I'm going to be in good shape. So I don't think I need to go for any kind of Prime Catcher Kyurem play. I imagine if I had it, I probably would have done it. It's a little risky though, like you discard all your energy, so I really think it's okay here to just take this kind of passive approach, loss impact, and just don't really play anything. I got the jamming tower down too, so we're feeling a little bit protected, right? Drifloon can't come in and just blow us up for free, like on our Drago on the bench, right? We'd much rather just have our active Drago die. It's a lot weaker, has less energies, so a little bit of protection from Drifloon here. And the idea also was that if Ethan decided to bump this jamming tower, we can always V-Star, get it back. These Gardevoir lists typically only have 1 Stadium bump. Sometimes they have 2, but if they only play 1 and they bump the jamming tower, you bring it back, you put it down again, and they're in rough shape. You'll notice Ethan does actually have multiple Stadium bumps in hand, playing the Vacuum and the Sinnoh. Especially the Lost Vacuum is a little annoying. That's actually going to put our jamming tower into the loss zone, so we're not going to be able to recover that with the Regidrago V-Star power. Looks like Ethan's stalling out here. I think he failed to find a Gardevoir EX here. Of course, he was probably looking for like Gardevoir EX plus maybe like a Drifloon attack or something, or like a Screamtail, or maybe like a big counter catcher play to blow up the other Drago. I'm not like entirely sure what he was going for, but without a Gardevoir EX, he's definitely not going to be able to do anything productive here. He's just going to pass off the turn. That sucks. Leaves the Kirlia in the active. Now, I'm in a little bit of a weird spot here, actually. Like, I want to continue taking these 2-prize KOs, but I don't want to find myself in a position where I can't, well, continue to take 2-prize turns. So I could go for some kind of Kyurem play here, like bring up the Klefki Kyurem, and it looks really good, but then, like, I have no energies. I also probably don't have the Kyurem in my discard. It looks like I don't have it, so I'm just going to go ahead, use Hawlucha and Dragapult to take a 2-prize knockout. Go down to 2 left. The idea being maybe my last 2 prizes can come from a Kyurem, or if a Drifloon comes in and knocks us out, our last 2 prizes could come from some kind of like Prime Catcher plus Phantom Dive here, but we still haven't even flipped our V-Star power, so you can kind of see here when we get to this kind of position in the end game, we haven't flipped our V-Star, we've got Fezandipity down, we've got a big Drago in the active. There's really not much Ethan can do from here. Looks like he's just going to go ahead and blow up our Drago with Drifloon, play an Iono, and hopefully we just draw like nothing playable here. We need a combination of a Gusting Effect to bring in Klefki or any other small Pokemon, and then 2 energy cards, and then we can Phantom Dive any of the small Pokemon plus this damaged Drifloon. So pretty much any piece. Yep, that should probably do it. I'm Ultra Balling. Oh, okay, I guess I'm going to Kyurem. I'm not really sure what I'm going for here. I definitely could have just won the game with that boss's orders and the Pulse. Looks like we're kind of talking it out and realizing it. Oh, okay, yeah, I can just boss in the Gardevoir. Loss impact it. That's another one that works. Plenty of ways to win the game there, but we're going to take down Ethan in this Drago Guardy match. And we're going to head into a new matchup. Getting into our next game here, we've got an interesting one. Ethan's going to be rocking Dragapult Thorns. Now, this is a deck that's kind of come onto the scene recently, and I don't have a lot of experience against it, so I really wanted to get a game in, kind of see if I could refine my strategy a bit more in this matchup. And I think my strategy, I mean, I feel like it's just my strategy in every game, is just to go slow, use Cleffa a couple times. This deck does not put on a lot of pressure. They only do like 140 damage on like turn 2 or 3, so we're just going to manually attach to our Drago a couple times, definitely not get too greedy, and then eventually look to take out the Toedscruel. So we attach Pass, and then we attach Evolve and Cleffa, and onto Ethan. He's going to get down that second Iron Thorns. Smart man, he knows I play Iron Bundle, doesn't want to let me get out of this Iron Thorns lock for free, And he's got that Toad Scroll set up, which is going to be really, really annoying, essentially preventing our V-Star the whole game. Really going to put a strain on our resources, so it's really important we play passively, we don't discard energies or E-switches, we make those manual attachments every turn, and we get multiple Regidrago V-Stars set up. I play an Ultra Ball here, we set up the board a little bit more, and I think this is the turn I'm going to start attacking. Yep, we've got those 3 manual attachments on the Drago, and we go in with Gudra. We don't want to go in with Pult and then get our Drago hit for 140, then it might die, and we're kind of in an awkward position where our Drago dies, we're still under Iron Thorns lock, and then we're kind of scrambling a little bit, might have to Cleffa again, would just be really bad. So we go in with the Gudra. Hopefully this is going to force Ethan to kind of break this Iron Thorns lock, maybe go into the Dragapult and really let us kind of develop our board, use our abilities, but he's just going to go ahead and attack for 60. That's okay too. We're not too bothered by that. Not too much damage coming down onto our Drago. We don't really want to knock out that Thorns with Gudra. It just seems kind of weak. We're kind of wasting damage, so I decided to pop the bundle. If he doesn't send up the other Iron Thorns, we get to use our abilities. We get to Gudra, take a prize card. So I was pretty confident he was just going to send up the Thorns. He does, and we just go ahead and Gudra it. What we weren't ready for is for him to Turo the Iron Thorns. That was kind of annoying. We were setting up for some pretty big, like, Pult 5 prize play or something, and he denies that. So we're set back a little bit. Our Dragos are building up damage. And what's really concerning is that Ethan could set up for some kind of like multi-KO where like he kills both my Dragos at once, which I'm a little afraid of at this point. So we go for the Phantom Dive. We end up putting 1 damage on the Toad Scroll. That was the most important part. That way we can Kyurem to take out that Toad Scroll later, and then we can free up our V-Star power to be used later on. I also sometimes like to make this play by just like Halucha-ing the Toad Scroll and then Kyureming it. That works too, but at least this way we don't have to use the Halucha. Taking a step into Ethan's shoes here, I'm not entirely sure what he should be going for here. I think he doesn't really want to kill this Regidrago V-Star. Say he knocked out the Regidrago V-Star with all the damage, put 6 damage on the other one. Well, then I just come in and use Gudra with the other one. He can't knock me out, and he's put in a really awkward spot. So I really like this from Ethan. I'm going to go ahead and use the Counter Catcher, continue piling up damage on both my V-Stars. This way, next turn, he can potentially knock out both my V-Stars at once, and then put me in an awkward spot, right? Maybe he can kill both V-Stars, play an Iono, and that seems pretty good to me. So, thinking of that, I try to get a 3rd Drago in play, but I kind of realize that it's just kind of unrealistic for me to get that Drago out. I can't make it into a 3rd V-Star, so if I just put down the Drago V, maybe Ethan plays an Iono, kills both the Dragos. The Dragos are actually set up so that if I bench that Drago, he could Counter Catcher the Drago, use Phantom Dive's bench damage to kill both my V-Stars, play an Iono, and as I was thinking of that, I'm like, okay, that just sounds terrible. So I super audited in the V-Star just to decide to research away the V, but a little bit of a sunk cost there. Of course, now that I don't have this Regidrago V, I wish I didn't have the V-Star in my deck, but we're already here, so it's all good. We decided to just pivot our energies off the Regidrago V-Star on the bench over to the Ogerpon, expecting both our Dragos to die here. The other thing we do is we put 110 damage on this Dragapult, so now this Dragapult has 10 HP remaining, and the awesome part about this is that with Halucha in our deck, if Ethan retreats this Dragapult, all we need to do is find Halucha to win the game, and if he doesn't retreat, then all we need is a Grass Energy to knock him out with Ogerpon and win the game. And we were really looking to get down Pheasantipede in that 5th bench slot to kind of give us some protection from Iono here, but looks like we weren't able to find the Pheasantipede. And in return, it looks like Ethan wasn't able to find an Iono here. Would have been a little scary. We would only be drawing 2 cards. I'm sure we have a decent amount of outs. And so, because he whiffs the Iono, I just go ahead, super rod the energies, Vessel him out, and I show him the Halucha as well, which we were talking about in the moment. And we take down another game just by using this kind of slow Regidrago approach. In our last game of the video, Ethan's picked up a Charizard deck, and specifically he's picked up Jackson Ford's Secret Box Charizard deck, which I've really been enjoying lately. You see that Secret Box in his hand right there. And we started off with a bit of a slow start. We don't have a Regidrago V down on our turn 1. It's alright, by now anyone watching my YouTube channel should know this is pretty regular from this Regidrago deck, and it's still very, very possible that we win the game anyways. So we're just going to go ahead, vessel out some energies, try to set up our board a little bit. I'd really like to see like a Cleffa here, maybe get down 2 Dragos, some attachments. And I actually kind of get baited here by this Prime Catcher. I see he only has 1 Charizard, or 1 Charmander, and I'm like, oh, I could just like Prime Catcher it, kill it with Ogre Pawn, and then he can't attack me next turn. And I'm like, oh, what are the odds he actually goes like Candy Pidgey, Thornton, Charizard? Surely doesn't happen. This is just a terrible play for multiple reasons. A, if he does pull off that big Thornton play, we're in rough shape. And B, even if he doesn't pull off a big play here, like if Ethan were to just go like Counter Catcher up Regidrago V, Rare Candy Pidgeot, Unfair Stamp, like I guess of course in the moment I know he's playing Secret Box, but if I don't know about the Secret Box and I could get Unfair Stamped, like that's terrible. Even just like a Counter Catcher on the Drago and like a slow turn could be really annoying. I think I only have like 1 or 2 cards in hand, so I really think that I should have just used Cleffa there, tried to get some energies down on some Dragos, and played a standard game. But it's definitely going to make for an interesting game for us to watch. What happens when you go aggressive like this against Charizard, knock out their only Charmander? It's going to be a little awkward, I'll tell you that much, that's for sure. So over to Ethan's turn. We haven't seen him do too much yet. He's used that Pheasantipity, and he's trying to piece together this Thornton play. He's got the Secret Box, so I have to imagine the Secret Box just like automatically gets him a big play. Just trying to sort out, I guess, all the sequencing of it. He goes ahead and gets the Pidgeot out. It does look like he's kind of suffering from having to discard too many cards, right? The Secret Box has to discard 3, and so maybe he can't play the Secret Box. Oh my gosh, does he have to Ultra Ball away the Secret Box to get Charizard? I think he does, actually. Yeah, he can Ultra Ball it away, get the Charizard, quick search for the rare candy, Thornton out the Zard. But it looks like that's not what he's going for. We see Ethan flicking a bunch of Secret Box cards to the front of the deck. Of course, if he uses the Secret Box, he bumps the Jamming Tower, gets access to his Forest Seal Stone. So we're going to see him quick search just for a card to discard to the Secret Box. He's going to get all the cards from the Secret Box, bump the Stadium, get the rare candy, Seal Stone for the Charizard. Alright, here's the Thornton play. Looks like he's pieced it together. I'm not actually sure if this is better than just like Ultra Balling for the Zard directly and then discarding the Secret Box. That doesn't sound particularly good either, but you probably end up in a similar situation here at the end of the day. And he's going to be knocking out the Ogre Pawn, but it looks like he doesn't have any backup Charmanders, so if I'm able to get a big Ogre Pawn KO here, I might be able to buy a couple of turns. Now, it is a little awkward. If I get this Ogre Pawn KO, Ethan could pop a Dusclops and then use Radzard to knock out the Ogre Pawn. That probably wouldn't actually be a good play, but it definitely is something he can do and something I need to be aware of. And we end up whiffing here pretty big off this Iono. We don't find the grass energy we need for the KO. We've used Teal Dance. We haven't attached for a turn. And now we're in a terrible spot. We're under a lot of pressure to flip our VSTAR to try to get this grass energy. If we used Cleffa here, Ethan can just quick search for boss, take 2 more prizes, and we're going to be disastrously behind. So I decided I just have to flip my V-Star power. I don't like it. This really removes my options for the rest of the game. You'll notice most of the games I win by using my V-Star power on the last or second last turn of the game. So flipping it this early is definitely not going to be good. But it does let us get this Ogre Pawn attack, and hopefully Ethan just can't play the game. But he's got a Pidgeot, he's got a Pheasantipity. He just has so much more draw power than us. We can't V-Star. I guess we at least have this Pheasantipity on the board. Lots of plays Ethan can go for here. I think just like Counter Catcher, Regidrago V, Iono seems pretty logical. It's really unlikely I'm going to draw something playable off those 3 cards. With no V-Star power, no Mew in play, just really no draw power at all. Looks like that's what he's going for. Counter Catcher, bring in the Drago, quick search Iono, and then he's just going to pass, I guess. It'd be nice if he had Rotom here. He could draw some extra cards, but he passes this turn, and then next turn he could just like Rare Candy into Charizard, start attacking. We're going to see him retreat into Duskull. I don't know if I like this play. I think I probably do, like just in case I somehow sack like Research into Switch into like Lost Impact your Pidgeot. Like that would of course be really bad. So at least this way, if I somehow get lucky, draw a Switch, he doesn't lose his Pidgeot. He could use Radzard on the next turn. So I like this retreat into the Duskull. And my hand here off this Iono is actually just triple E-switch, which I thought was pretty funny. I debated not Dragon Lasering. Like, it just seems so terrible to use all my energy switches, but I think if I just continued to do nothing, Ethan would just rare candy a Charizard eventually, whether it was next turn or the turn after that. I can't just sit around and wait for him to have rare candy Charizard, so I decided to go in with a Dragon Laser. We go down to 2 prizes with the most unstable board I've ever seen. And I think at this point, my plan is to just like Luxac, like Radiant Charizard Fire Energy boss off this final Iono. I think I have 1 boss in my deck. Pretty sure I'm down my prime. I used that on like turn 1 or 2. And one of my other bosses is either prized or in the discard. So we're put in a spot where we have to get like absurdly lucky now to win this game. Ethan recognizes that. He uses the Radzard. Not going to give us a Charizard EX to knock out with the Ogerpon, that's for sure. We start off our turn with Pheasantipity and Ogerpon, draw some cards, and I think we actually get somewhat close to this Radzard KO. If I remember correctly, I have Radzard and Fire Energy in hand, but not the boss's orders, so we're not able to make the play here. I think we just have to go for some kind of passive play, like use Cleffa this turn, hope Ethan can't win the game. Yeah, we don't even have an Iono, we have to research. But yeah, we're just prepping that Radzard, looking to use boss next turn to close out the game. We research, we draw 7 unplayable cards, so we can't even Cleffa to like draw anything. We don't want to use our Radzard to knock out Ethan's Radzard, just make it too easy for him to win the game. You just need a Zard and a boss. At least this way, he needs like Zard, triple Fire Energy off the Infernal Rain, and maybe a boss. But he actually prized his 5th Fire Energy. One of the downsides of only playing 5 Fire Energies in this Charizard deck, it makes it really awkward in the spot, right? He's used this Radzard because I was on 2 prizes. He didn't want to give me the easy KO. And now he's a little stuck here. If he uses Charizard to get the double fire out, he can retreat, but then he doesn't have the energy on the Charizard EX. He's got Super Odd, but his Night Stretcher's gone. So he actually just can't make the play this turn, which is kind of funny. He takes a second here, trying to figure out what exactly he does, if it is somehow possible for him to get there. And at the end of the day, he just decides to evolve into Charizard EX, put a bunch of Fire Energies on this Radzard, and I think he goes for a boss's orders. Yeah, just goes for a boss's orders on the Drago VSTAR. This is super good. I think I do have my Switch left in my deck at this point, but now he's forcing me to have like Switch Boss, and I definitely don't have Switch Boss. I think I do have the boss in hand, but I don't have the Switch, so I can't make the game-winning play. I just have to play Iono, try and deny him the game-winning play, but it's definitely not looking good for me here. And this game is a little bit of a comedy at the end here. Ethan's out of boss now, so he can't quick search boss for game. He just quick searches the Duskull, hits for 250. I draw pass because I have a terrible hand, no draw support. And then he just uses Dusclops to win the game. So you can definitely see how flipping your V-Star early, not using Cleffa, can get you in these really awkward endgame positions. If you've been watching my videos and you're looking to level up your Pokemon gameplay, I do offer private coaching sessions. Whether you're new to the game and you're trying to crush your local league, or you're an experienced player and you're trying to acquire a Pokemon World Championship invite, I can help you reach your goals. So if you're interested, the link is in the description down below. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.